All right, Big Man. Today is Thursday. Excuse me. It is Thursday. It's July 14th. Welcome to the Dog Walk, presented by Barstool Sports. Like I told you earlier in the week, Chief is back. Chief, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Ed. How are you?
Great to have you back. A lot of fucking interesting discussions we're going to get into today.
I feel that I tweeted this over the holiday break. Every single headline was like a Dog Walk episode.
Dude, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
That's
yeah.
why we had to double up this week.
Yep.
Man. We had to double up. Before we get into it, though, I do want to talk about our friends at Upstart. You guys know the drill by now. If you're having trouble with debt, make sure you look into them because Upstart is powered personal loans that can help you pay down high-interest debt all online with simple and easy-to-understand payment terms. Upstart has helped over 1.8 million customers on their path to financial freedom. Whether it's paying off high credit card debts or consolidating high-interest debts or funding personal expenses, Upstart can get you one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows that you're more than just a credit score, so rather than looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find your smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate within minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000 without impacting your credit score, and you can even receive the funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan, which is great. Don't wait. Check your rate today at upstart.com/Eddie. That's upstart.com/Eddie, EDDIE, to check your rate today. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based upon your credit score, your credit, your income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. One more time. And once again, go to upstart.com/Eddie and start being smarter about your debt today. All right, Chief, where are we starting?
Where do you want to start?
I want to start with Bigfoot.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Are you a Bigfoot guy? A Sasquatch guy? I mean, you like things that go bump in the night.
I'm not as in the sense of like I think it's real, but I love the phenomenon.
The discussion around it.
It's so great,
Yeah.
dude. It's so great.
Yeah, so Billy Football, which he likes weird shit like this too.
Mm-hmm.
He did the blog on it over the holiday. And basically the story originated because there is this guy, and I'm not super familiar with him, but sounds like he's a guy who's, per Billy and per other research, he's a guy who I don't put a lot of faith in what he says. Like he's kind of like a clickbait guy.
Yeah.
And, so supposedly the story goes, this guy, Coyote Peterson, just stumbling around the Pacific Northwest, trouncing through like the fucking woods in British Columbia, which, when you hear the term rainforest, you never think of the Pacific Northwest with, Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia. But rainforest, that distinction, that classification is based upon how much rainfall you get per year. Mm-hmm. So you have like a tropical rainforest, like at least that's what I think about when I think of the rainforest. You think of like the Congo, the Amazon, places like that. But those places in the Pacific Northwest are technically rainforest too. So he's just trouncing around through the rainforest up there and stumbles upon this giant fucking skull that, there's still no, there's been no like real data, any science done around. He's just like, look at this fucking skull. And so who knows what it is? Maybe, at first glance, I was like, is that just like a weird log? But it looks more and more like it is like the shape of a skull of something. And the internet was abuzz saying it was Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever you want to call it, that's what this thing was. And I have never been super intrigued by the Bigfoot Sasquatch thing either. I don't know why. It was just one of the
I don't think it's real.
I don't think it's real either, but
especially like we really need something. Like this is the thing. We need something like this to be real.
Yeah.
Or like at least unidentifiable to like breathe new life into it at this point because it's been like disproven and shit so many times.
Yeah, it's kind of like the UFO thing where it's like, how come no one's been able to get a good, like every picture's super grainy. It could be a bear, it could be fucking just some guy walking around. It's never like a convincing picture, and that probably that made sense in 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, where it's like everyone, they had like those handheld camcorders where you zoom in with your fingers or whatever, and the picture quality was never good. Now everybody has a phone. There's satellite images fucking everywhere. Like you should be able to have better pictures of spacecraft or this fucking alien or this Sasquatch walking around, and you just don't. And it's probably because it's not real. That doesn't mean that the skull itself is not real. Okay. So
you think there may have been a Bigfoot?
So this is what I got. So Billy put this thing out about in his blog about this primate called Gigantopithecus, which was a 10-foot tall primate, and it's said to have gone extinct 100,000 years ago, which is not that long a period of time. That means like it coexisted at the same point as human beings, and it's in that region of the world where, you know, we saw a lot of giant fucking animals. Like we talked about like the Pleistocene era and all these things like the short-faced bear and all these things that existed at a time where there were humans. And then for one reason or another, they all disappeared. And that, so Billy referenced that. And there's been fossils of, you know, bones of this animal. Like this is a real animal that they say existed. And it got me to thinking, why aren't there primates really anywhere? There's no primates in North America at all. I think there's some like little monkeys down in like the Yucatan rainforest of Mexico. So I guess in Panama and places like that. So I guess that's like technically North America, but there's no monkeys in Canada or the United States. And there's none in Europe, but there are. So it's like, it seems like they're always in tropical climates. I'm like, why would that be? Why would that be? Mm-hmm. But then there are some in Japan. There's like those snow monkeys in Japan that you see where they're like, and you see them in Japan and maybe in like another place too, these baboons where they like chill and it's like snowing all around them, but they chill in like these, like, what do you call those? The hot springs. You seen those
I
monkeys?
think so,
okay.
yeah.
So it's just kind of funny. It was like, oh yeah, you got these monkeys and they're just like lounging. They're lounging in this like, you know, nature made hot tub, these pools. And it's like, well, wait a second. So yeah, like maybe it makes some sense on some level that all the primates kind of settled in the, you know, in the jungle, but then there's, you know, there doesn't seem like there are climate restrictions. So you do have a large, like the highest population density and variance are in rainforests, tropical rainforests, but you have like in like Ethiopia, you have certain types of primates. You have them, like I said, in China, you have them in Japan, and all these other places that aren't necessarily tropical. So why would there be no primates anywhere in North America except for, you know, maybe Bigfoot? So that makes me think that maybe it's like half myth, half real, and that these stories were just passed down over and over and over again, like these mythological floods and maybe dragons, and Sasquatch is kind of something like that. But it doesn't make sense to me that there would be primates in every corner of the globe except for North America. Like that doesn't make sense. And maybe it's just because they went extinct because of some cataclysm, or human beings came and hunted them because they're a fucking giant scary beast. We got to get rid of these things, or who knows. But I do think that it's probably likely at some point that there was a climate event or there was a habitat in North America that a primate monkey like this giant fucking thing could thrive. And, you know, when it totally extinct 100,000 years ago, well, before that era, and now we're going back like millions of years, and we've talked about this before too, the climate was like the whole planet was like a jungle rainforest. So you can find fossil evidence in Alaska of palm trees, and same thing in Antarctica. And there was a time where there was a land bridge that connected South America to Antarctica and then to Australia. So it's not Pangea, it's something else. It's just like the water levels were not as high. So these natural land bridges. And they think that that's actually why there's so many marsupials in Australia, is because they just traveled down from South America, went across Antarctica over to Australia, and then the sea level rise and trapped them there. So then that's why there's just so much more marsupial, like kangaroos and these different things that were descendants of possums and all sorts of other marsupials that just eventually became like their own species when they're isolated from everything else.
Those are crazy too, dude. You ever seen a video of like Australian golf courses when there's just fucking tons of them just like running at your carts?
So you're like, I think if you're like a farmer, you can just shoot kangaroos like indiscriminately.
Oh, really?
They're considered like a pest over there. Like we think they're this like cute little animal, but they will, if you're like raising cattle, well, they're eating all the same shit, and they become a problem, and they'll like kind of terrorize like your land and your other farm animals. So you have to be you have to be careful. And like there's that famous video of the guy like squaring up against the kangaroo that I fucking love. He's just like, all right, you're going after my dog, I guess we have to fight. And he just socks the thing in the face. So
and I think they run away typically, but like some of them will
can you imagine that?
Get a little aggressive.
Like I remember one time, like I'm not like afraid of animals per se, but I remember one time I was at my buddy's house in St. Charles, and we could hear something. Like his parents had a detached garage, and we could hear something rustling. And so we get like big flashlight. Remember those Magnum flashlights? Where you could just like
the mag lights?
Yeah, the mag lights. You like beat the fuck out of people with that.
Yeah.
So we had one of those, and they're like super bright. We shined it up there, and there's like a family of raccoons. And we were probably from like here to the door of our studio, maybe like 10 feet from them. And I remember like, fuck. like
were they like tensing up, ready to
fight?
Yeah,
like like showing their teeth, and like they were backed into the corner.
Yeah.
So they were, and they saw like a shining light in their eyes, like they got startled. They didn't run away, but there was like a bunch of them. We ran away because that was fucking scary. I can't imagine going head to head with a kangaroo.
Kangaroo, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're fucking jacked.
No, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some of them are like super jacked. Yeah. So, but I do think that there's like people just dismissing this out of hand, like, oh, it's a fake, it's this, it's that. I think there's probably so much that we just don't know.
Yeah.
And, like think of all the animals that we know exist, and we're still finding new ones all the time. Bottom of the ocean, rainforest, this and that, all these different species of plants and animals that we have all the best technology that's ever existed. And we're still finding stuff that we're like, holy shit, that's brand new.
Dude, just looking at this, though, I do think we're due to just do an episode on Bigfoot in general. Like, there's so many things like this. Like this frame 352 with a Patterson Gimlin film. Like, that's like one of the most famous pictures of alleged Bigfoot. And it's just such a phenomenon. I think Loch Ness Monster got some fucking legs, though.
You think that one's real?
Yeah.
Why do you think that one's real?
Just because the ocean, anything goes.
Well, it's not an ocean.
Wait, where the Loch Ness Monster was?
Yeah, it's not an ocean.
Where is it, though?
Loch, L-O-C-H, just means lake in like old Scottish language. So it's just Lake Ness. And so it's just like you should be able, to me, I feel like you have a trapped body of water, you should be able to find that fucking thing. So I actually think Sasquatch, Bigfoot has more legs and is a greater chance of being real than Loch Ness Monster.
Well, I think all right, if that's where its origin is, I think there's a type of Loch Ness Monster, like probably in different parts of the ocean.
Yeah. Again, it's not an ocean though. You could. So you're just saying that specific one? No, but some creature from the depths.
Like there's some type of thing like that.
100%. 100%. And like you think of like these megalodons and things like that. You know what a megalodon is? It's like an ancient shark.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like they're enormous. They're like 50 feet long or something, or longer. Like they're just like you can't even, like we think of Jaws. This thing would be like 6 times the size of Jaws, or like as big as a blue whale, but like mean.
Like I'm pretty sure great whites aren't even that big.
No, if you watch I think it might be Shark Week. I don't know if that's still a thing, but
I might have some shark facts on there.
Yeah. But I used to love Shark Week back in like 1998, and then they just started rerunning the same program over and over. But they have that one where they go off the coast of South Africa. Seen this?
No.
So for whatever reason, they have this phenomena of great white sharks down there that behave and hunt in a way that they don't hunt anywhere else. So they come up from, like, there's this island off the coast where seals kind of go back and forth, and the sharks will like lurk beneath the water and then attack them vertically, and they generate so much speed. It's almost like, they're a quarterback hitting a wide receiver on a slant, and the seal is,
boom.
Yeah, and they just intercept it, and they come up with so much speed that they're flying through the air. And that's like the clips that you always see through the commercials. And they did this thing where they made like a decoy seal, which they would drag behind a boat, like 60 yards or something, like maybe not even that much, but drag it on a line behind the boat and put a camera in the seal thing. So the shark would come up and it would see this thing that it thought was a seal scurrying across the water with a camera in it. So you could see the shark coming up at the seal through the water. And it's not hard to be like, well, if I was swimming and that thing just wanted to destroy me, like you would get obliterated by just like the sheer force and sharpness of its teeth, like cut in half on impact. And that's what happens to these seals. They just get destroyed.
I've seen a video similarly of a polar bear like attacking like a ball, like a metal ball that has a camera in it, and like the ferociousness of this fucking thing.
Insanity.
Is crazy. It's crazy. You know what I can guarantee, though, if Bigfoot was real, that he would love to tear into a JP Graziano
I bet he would.
I
bet he would, yeah. I mean, that's just one of those things where it's like, how do we know that we're related, to these different species? See what they do to a sub.
Yeah,
see what they do to a sub sandwich.
If we set up like a little, remember Kobayashi, they put him up against a bear?
Yeah.
Just put a Bigfoot up against someone for, JP Graziano subs.
I think I might win that.
You think you got him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could take down Word, Mr. G. Go check them out, 901 West Randolph, Heart of the West Loop. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Don't forget about that late night window if you're around there. They will be serving it from there till about 12:30. So go get your late sub. Tonight they have a collab with the Berea Beefs. Go check those out. They're tonight, Thursday nights, and it should be the collabs are always awesome.
It's the first time you've ever said collab the right way.
I did it all week because I've been talking about them because I got chastised for saying collab.
Collab.
It's still not natural. Like I have to consciously say that.
I could tell that it was bothering you.
It was. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah. I should just stick to collab. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll say collab.
Yeah. I'll say collab. But go check that out. TasteRealChicago.com. They got the beef kits. They got the just original muffaletta kits.
Yep.
Go grab your beef kit.
I love that muffaletta.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday with Hannah and Danny and Tom. It's the best. Man.
It is.
It really is good stuff. So go get it. And it's people say like, oh, it's hot for a beef. It's not. You'll be fine.
Totally fine.
Make a beef.
Yeah.
Make a beef.
Shut up.
A beef kit. Go do it.
I don't even think it is that hot.
No.
I think it's like the
perfect.
No,
like I'm saying like the temperature outside.
Oh.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
What? People are so...
Yeah.
They wouldn't say that about a hot dog or a hamburger.
No, exactly.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
Have a beef sandwich. Shut up.
Exactly. It'll be nice. Go get a TasteRealChicago.com and get a beef kit. Get some peppers. All right. What else is there?
I mean, you want to talk more ancient shit? They found a woolly mammoth, too. So I'm wearing the shirt. We had the guy on, the team on, that were trying to recreate the woolly mammoth. And then kind of in the similar area. So I think the Bigfoot skull. The other thing about the Bigfoot skull, and people are like, oh, like we would have found something by now. I don't think so, dude. Like those woods, like if you've seen them, what's that movie? I think it might be Predator or something like that, where they're just, maybe that's not it. It's who's that Hispanic actor he's awesome.
Without a Paddle?
Maybe, I don't know. Fuck it. But
it's not Without a Paddle.
It's like that part of the world. Like no one really lives there. It's so dense. Things are decaying, all the time. Like things obviously live in there, but it's like not very habitable for humans. So it's not like you could have things that like we're talking about where we're just discovering them all the time. Or like when they found those, they found all these cities and stuff and these ruins in Latin America because now they have like this new technology, LiDAR. Like if we start applying new technologies to finding old shit in that area, we're going to dig up all sorts of shit. And with climate change, you're having these things that were just, there's the permafrost that nobody could get into that now they're suddenly able, because we've had enough melting, thanks to global warming, that you're able to find this stuff. And they found a perfectly preserved baby woolly mammoth up in the Yukon, so north of where they found Bigfoot. But it's something that was just been locked in this frozen dirt that you could not you would need like a pickaxe and a full team of dynamite to get into it. But now it's just kind of softened the the earth up and stuff erodes, and now you just basically stumble on this thing. And if you look at it, you're like, that is a little baby elephant that they and I blogged this maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. But they're gonna find more stuff like that, and like the DNA is perfectly preserved, so you're gonna be able to like wake their little asses up and have these woolly mammoths like there. And like I tweeted about it, and the guy Ben Lamb, who's running the project, we have like from Colossal, we have the fossil of the woolly mammoth tooth on the shelf back there. I was like, wake his ass up. And Ben Lamb replied like, oh, we're working on it. So I think like we're getting close, and like as the technology improves, and like it's like, to me, it's like the biggest benefit of climate change. So people are always like, oh my God, it's so bad. I'm like, yeah, it sounds bad, but we're going to find cool shit that's been locked away for 100,000 years. And who knows what we'll find. And then maybe the answer to solving these problems is bringing back the woolly mammoth. So we're going to be able to do more stuff and find more stuff. And there's like, you know, like I said earlier about how like the climate was a rainforest before, like the whole thing, like up in Alaska was more a rainforest, and like carbon levels were way higher. And, you know, so people always want to be like, oh, like humans are the worst. We're the cause of all this, and it's only going to get worse. I don't know if it's going to get worse. I really like, part of me just thinks is like, we're only used to the thing that we've experienced in recorded history, which is 6,000 years. And then when we talk about like Atlantis and some of these other things and these big disasters and the great floods, well, those are all other climate change events that weren't caused by us. So we've become these, you know, fat, milky, you know, blob species that like if we ever did have to fight a family of raccoons or kangaroos or polar bears, we would be fucked. But like we, like the earth just, you know, it's like, oh, life finds a way, like the guy from Jurassic Park. And I do kind of think that like we'll just adjust and we'll figure it out. And then, you know, I don't think we're going to be emitting carbon at this rate like we have been forever. So I think things will probably cool down naturally. Everyone should just chill. Like we should do a better job keeping control of the planet, but we're going to have population collapse is what people think now. So we won't be expanding as much energy. We'll have, you know, nuclear, solar, wind, everything's going to be fine.
But like you said, though, they had palm trees in Alaska.
Yeah.
Like things could change drastically.
Doesn't mean it's for the worse.
It's not going to not exist is what you're saying.
I don't know that it's like if we have these, like, I don't like the heat. Okay. But I think like it will happen. Like these changes will happen, and then we'll adjust, and we'll like find new ways to farm, and we'll find new ways to get the food that we need, and we'll probably need less because there will just be less people. Like I have seen theories that how we are living right now, which I think we're up to like 7.9 billion people on Earth, that this is the most people that will ever exist on the planet at one time. There are people who think that. Other people think it will go as high as 9 billion, which is not like we've gone from 6 and change to 7.9 in my lifetime. I haven't noticed a change. So I think that if we get to 9, it's not going to be like, holy shit, like we feel really overcrowded. And then after we get to like, once we get to 9, population will collapse because we just we're not having as many babies as we used to. It seems like the trend is, in places where women have more education and more rights, they always have less babies. So as more and more people around the world learn how to read, have more democracy, more human rights, more rights for women, then those countries that you're seeing population booms in, like places like Nigeria, India, places like that are becoming more and more modernized, their birth rates are also falling. So as that becomes more widespread, we're just not going to create as many people as we used to. So the population will decline. So we won't use as much energy. We won't use as much resources. Everything will just kind of, I don't know, figure itself out to a degree. So we're coming up with cleaner energy, but we're also just not going to need as much, you know, in 50 years than we do right now.
Fucking Elon ain't helping though.
Elon's out apparently.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah. So Twitter took a bath, right? Stock price. Once that deal was announced, that
yeah, but did you see that he like apparently had twins with someone?
Oh, he is.
And you see
he can't keep his dick in his
pants.
pants.
Yeah, he said he's trying to help the
population collapse. Yes. Yeah, I did see that.
Yes.
I mean, what's he got? He's got 8.
I saw Nick Cannon. I think he's got 9.
9.
I thought I saw Nick Cannon reply to him.
What did Nick Cannon say?
He said, like, me too, brother. Like,
Well, then who is the guy? It was like the famous clip from Hard Knocks when he was on the Jets.
Antonio Cromartie?
Cromartie, the corner, right? Where he's like, I got, one baby's 6, and he was like, you got so-and-so who's 3, so-and-so who's 3, so-and-so who's going to be, like, he had 6 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, what the fuck? And so I think, there's outliers. Elon wants to spread his seed all over the place, apparently. Because I think he's got like 4 different mothers.
Elon?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So not great. I wouldn't endorse that, but yeah, he's doing his best, I guess, keep the population up. So
Cromartie has 14 children.
that's just so many kids.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah. Is he still playing? I mean, I feel like he was hanging on for a long time just because he needed to support so many kids.
Nick Cannon has 8.
Okay. 8?
Any with Mariah?
I don't think so.
No, they have twins.
Mariah and Nick Cannon do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good for them.
They have twins. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of. But the thing is, too, people should look at this picture of the woolly mammoth. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's like you said, it's permafrost. Like there is structure. It's not just bones. That's like the most unbelievable part.
Right. It looks like it was just like buried in for like it was like chipped out of an ice block. Essentially.
Yeah, like you got to think that they'll be able to figure more out from that.
They say its DNA is preserved. So like if you could sequence its DNA like perfectly, it's just about finding a host, meaning a mother elephant, that you can do it enough that you can create a herd. And what did the guy say when he was on that? He thought that they would have 6, within like 4 years or something like that, 6 woolly mammoths. And then like in 15 years, they'd have like 200, because then that's the amount of time for gestation. And like you can grow the population out of that 6 that you could make a whole herd.
I wonder if that's going to expedite the process.
But like the thing I was thinking about with that is that remember how much they were talking about like the support they were getting from the Russian government?
Yeah.
No one can work with them now. So now like you got to turn your sights to Canada or I don't know, Norway, something like that. Mm-hmm. I watched another thing about Norway too, by the way. They got to figure it out.
Why?
They were like in the 1950s, they were like one of the poorest countries in Europe, because if you look at their geography, it's all those like fjords and like it's so far north and cold and miserable. And it's just a bunch of these little like fishing communities. They didn't have great education. And then they found oil in the Black Sea, or the North Sea rather. And now like technically, because the population gets so much from that industry, that everybody in the country is like a millionaire. Like literally every single person in the country is a millionaire. They have all these like, and they set up like this. So you have like, it's like they did everything like the opposite of Venezuela. Okay. So like they nationalized their oil. So all their citizens can benefit from it in a way that Venezuela did not. But then they set up like this sovereign fund where they take some profit that is from the oil industry, and instead of just like pumping it into their own economy, they have like this team of investors, and they only invest in places abroad. And then they take the profits from that, from those investments, and use that to fund all their social programs. So it's like they're not taxing their own population to support the social programs the way that most countries, us included, do. It's like, no, like we're going to take the money from the oil, use that money from the oil to diversify our own economy, and then we're going to take an extra stuff on top of that, create this giant investment fund, which I think is like the 3rd largest in the world. And Saudi Arabia is just starting to do some of this now. They have their own fund, and it's much larger, but it's really just run by the one guy. And he's like bought Newcastle, the soccer team. He's the guy behind the Live Tour. Like they're doing they have different goals because they have to clean up their image a little bit. But then they basically, it's like great education, great healthcare, and it's not like healthcare in Canada where it's like, hey, like I need a knee replacement, and they'd be like, cool, we'll schedule you for 3 years from now, because that's one of the offsets of having a fully socialized medicine. is that you have to have these long wait times. Okay. Where here, it'll be way more expensive, but you get it done when you want it done.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, they kind of have the best of both worlds. And they have other things going for them, like it's a smaller population, it's easier to manage. But a lot of times you'll see countries that find oil make their whole economy about oil. And then if oil dips, like we've seen, in years past, the whole economy dips. Well, they have a guard against that. And then they're not solely reliant on it to fund their entire economy. They've kind of used it to prop up their economy. And it's worked out much better. So.
Sorry, distracted.
Yeah, I thought I heard something in my ears.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Yeah.
That distracted me.
Yeah.
They're doing work, and it's just.
You could hear their voices coming through the pipes or something.
Like it's fucking the Goonies.
Yeah.
In the well. So they have it figured out then.
Yeah, I mean that could be an interesting, if we ever wanted to do like an economic thing, we could talk about Norway and how they've set up their country, and it's just like, man, like I should just move to Norway.
Yeah.
It just sounds awesome.
Just check it out.
Just beautiful blonde girls and everybody's a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep.
All right then, Chief. Thank you. That's the updated episode, kind of like a part 2, but a whole new episode for Thursday here.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for listening. That's it for this week. We'll see you all on Monday.